In previous experiment we have seen circulator, that is non-reciprocal devices, and coming to another experiment, that is isolator, which is also non-reciprocal devices, right? Now let us see its operation, how this isolator operates, and let us find out scattering matrix of the isolator, right? Theoretically and practically you have to observe this under your lab, characteristics of a isolator, right? Theoretically, let me define what is the operation of isolator. Now let me derive what is the scattering matrix of the isolator, and practically you have to observe this under your lab, right? Now this, if you see this is the structure of the isolator. Now it contains two ports. If you see this structure, isolator is a two-port device, right? Isolator is a two-port device, and this is port 2, right? I am giving briefly while explaining about the microwave bench, right? While explaining about the microwave bench, I have said about isolator, right? Microwave bench contains the isolator, right, which is a two-port device, right? I have said its properties while explaining microwave bench, right? It is a two-port device. Input given from port 1 will result output power from port 2. But if I give input power from port 2, you won't get any output power from port 1, right? You won't get any output power from port 1. Now that is the property of the isolator. Now let us see how this particular isolator operates, right? Now how we are getting input output from port 2 when you are giving input power from port 1. Now why you are not getting output power from port 1 when you are giving input through port 2. Now let us see its operation, isolator operation, right? In forward direction, this is forward direction, it will give the output. In backward direction, it will block the output, right? Now coming to this, now this is the structure of the isolator. Now this we call it as resistive cut. Resistive cut. Based on this resistive cord only, isolator operation will depend, right? At port 1 you have one resistive cut, and at port 2 you have another resistive cut, right? At port 1 you have one resistive cut, and at port 2 you have another resistive cut, right? Now here if you see this is the ferrite rod. Whatever you have, this is the ferrite rod, right? Now this is used to provide phase shift. Either it may be 45 degrees or it may be 90 degrees or it may be 135 degrees. Here you have a ferrite rod, now which is used to produce the phase shift, right? Now here the isolator contains the ferrite rod, which provides a phase shift of 45 degrees in clockwise direction. If you see this structure, right, it is in clockwise direction and it produces a phase shift of 45 degrees to the signal which is transferring through it. Whatever the signal that is transferring through it, now that signal will get a tilt of 45 degrees in clockwise direction, right? Now if you are using 90 degrees ferrite rod, now that signal will get a phase shift of 90 degrees in clockwise direction, right? Now this is ferrite rod will provide a phase shift to the signal which is passing through it. Either it may be 45 degrees or it may be 90 degrees or it may be 135 degrees, depending on the ferrite rod that you are using, right? Now here we are using the ferrite rod. Isolator contains the ferrite rod which provides a phase shift of 45 degrees in clockwise direction, right? Which provides a phase shift of 45 degrees in clockwise direction. Now here it contains a twist. Here it contains a twist of 45 degrees. Isolator contains a twist of 45 degrees which is in anti-clockwise direction, right? Isolator, whatever the signal that is passing through that twist, now it will get a phase shift of 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, right? Now let us see its operation. Now here, now I am passing the input. Now I am passing the input through port 1, right? Now this port 1, this port 1 output is collected at port 2. If I give input power from port 2, output is collected at port 1, but you won't get any output from port 1. Now why you are not getting the output from port 1? Now let us see it, right? Now here we are using the resistive card, right? Here we are using the resistive card, and this will its prop. Now let us see its property. Now resistive card will allow the signal to pass through it only if it is perpendicular to it. Only the plane of polarization is perpendicular to it, then only it will allow the signal to pass through it. That is the property of the resistive card, right? Now here it is nothing but which waveguide? Rectangular waveguide. Now what is dominant mode in rectangular waveguide? TE10, right? Now TE10 I am passing through port 1, right? Now this TE10 is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card, right? TE10 is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card, then it will allow the signal. If it is parallel to the plane of resistive card, then it won't allow the signal, it will block there itself, right? Now here we are passing the input from port 1, that is TE10 mode, TE10 signal, TE wave. Now this is passed through resistive card. Now since the plane of TE10 mode is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card, it will allow the signal, right? Now signal is passed through resistive card. After resistive card, now here this signal will get a twist of 45 degrees. Here you have a twist, right? Now this signal will get a phase shift of 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, right? Whatever the signal that is passed after the resistive card, now it will get a phase shift of 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction due to twist, right? Now after this it will pass through ferrite rod. Now here you have a 45 degrees phase shift in clockwise direction. Already it is shifted by 45 degrees in anti-clockwise due to twist and 45 degrees in clockwise, right? Both will get cancelled, right? Now hence the signal is, you will get 45 degrees in anti-clockwise and 45 degrees in clockwise, right? You won't get any phase shift. Normal signal, normal TE signal, whichever is passed through port 1. Now that is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card. Hence you will get output from port 2, right? Hence you will get output from port 2. Now if I give input from port 2, right? Now the same thing, here also it will contain one rectangular waveguide. Now here also you are passing TE10 mode, right? Now dominant mode is TE10 mode. Now this plane is perpendicular to the plane of the resistive card, right? Its plane is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card. Now it will allow the signal, right? Now that signal will get a tilt of 45 degrees in clockwise direction due to ferrite rod, right? Now this twist provides 45 degrees in forward direction in anti-clockwise. In backward direction it will provide a 45 degrees phase shift in clockwise direction. If it is providing 45 degrees phase shift in anti-clockwise direction in forward direction. In backward direction the direction will be clockwise, right? Now this 45 degrees clockwise plus 45 degrees clockwise, you will get 90 degrees phase shifted signal, right? Now 90 degrees phase shifted signal is given as input to the resistive card, right? Now that signal plane will be parallel to the plane of resistive card. Hence the resistive card will block the signal there itself, right? Hence the resistive card will block the signal there itself. It won't allow the signal from port 1. That's why if I give input power from port 2, you won't get any output power from port 1, right? Now I am drawing the figure here, then you will come to know, right? Now this is TE10 mode. Assume TE10 mode, right? Now this signal is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card. TE10 mode, plane is perpendicular to the plane of resistive card, then it will allow the signal, right? Now here you have a twist, right? Now this is in port 1, given through port 1 to port 2, and this is port 2 to port 1, right? Port 2 to port 1 in forward direction, and port 2 to port 1 to 2 in forward direction, and 2 to 1 in backward direction, right? Now TE10 mode plane is perpendicular to the plane of the resistive card, hence it will allow the signal, right? Now that signal will get a, now initially it is in this direction, right? Initially it is in this direction. Now that signal will get a phase shift of 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction due to twist, right? Due to twist. Now the signal will be like this, right? Now the signal will be like this, 45 degrees phase shifted, and this is due to what? Twist. Due to twist, which is providing the phase shift of 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, right? Now this particular signal, now initially it is in this direction, right? Initially it is phase shifted by 45 degrees, right? Now this signal is passed through ferrite rod, right? This signal is passed through ferrite rod. Now ferrite rod will provide a phase shift of 45 degrees in clockwise direction. Hence the signal will be the normal TE signal. You will get like this, right? Red indicates, now this is due to ferrite rod, right? Twist, you are providing 45 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, and ferrite rod is providing 45 degrees phase shift in clockwise direction. Now this TE10 mode and this mode normally same, right? Now this is perpendicular to the plane of the resistive card, hence this you will arrive at port 2, right? Hence the same signal, whatever the signal you are transferring from port 1, now that you will get same through port 2. Now this is in forward direction. Now let us see in backward direction. Now port 2, the same signal. There also it contains rectangular waveguide for transmission, and the dominant mode you are transferring is TE10, right? Now this TE10 mode plane is perpendicular to the plane of the resistive card, hence it will allow the signal, right? Now this signal is passed through ferrite rod. Now what ferrite rod will do, right? What ferrite, initially it is in this direction, right? Now ferrite rod will provide a 45 degrees in clockwise direction. The signal will get a tilt of 45 degrees in clockwise direction, and this is due to ferrite rod, due to ferrite rod, right? Now next that signal is passed through twist, right? Now twist, it is in forward direction, it is providing in anti-clockwise. In backward it will provide a phase shift in clockwise direction, right? Now the normal signal is at your, after passing through ferrite rod, is this one, and this you will get the signal, and this is due to 45 degrees in clockwise due to ferrite rod, and 45 degrees due to twist, right? In backward direction it is in clockwise direction, right? And this is due to twist, right? Now if you see this TE10 mode, now this is parallel to the plane of resistive card, right? Now this signal is, this is the output of the twist, right? Now this plane of this signal is parallel to the resistive card, hence its properties, it will block the signal. That's why you won't get any output power from port 1. No output power from port 1. Just resistive card. Remember its property, it will allow the signal if its plane is perpendicular to its plane. If it is parallel to its plane, then it will block the signal. Since it is parallel, it will block the signal there itself. That's why you won't get any output power from port 1, right? Now this is the operation of the isolator. Now let us see its scattering matrix, right? Now here how many ports it contains? 2 ports, right? Now what is the order of scattering matrix of isolator? 2 by 2, right? Now that is given as S is equals to S11, S12, S21 and S22, right? Now port 1 and 2, port 1 and 2 perfectly matched. Both ports are perfectly matched. Port 1 and 2 both are perfectly matched. That means you won't get any reflection. That's why S11 is 0 and S22 is 0, right? Now if I give input power from port 2 from the property of isolator, are you getting any output power from port 1? No. The signal is blocked by the resistive card because its plane is parallel to its plane, right? That's why S12 is 0. Input given from port 2 will result no output power from port 1. Now that's why S12 is 0. Now substitute all the values. Now S is equals to 0. S11 is 0. S12 is also 0. S21 remains as it is and S21 is 0. Now S is a unitary matrix, right? Now S is a unitary matrix, that is S transpose into S conjugate, which is equals to I. If you see See, from the properties of unitary matrix, either S into S conjugate should be equals to I, or S transpose into S conjugate should be equals to I, right? Now, what is S transpose? 0, S21, 0, 0. Now, what is S conjugate? 0, S21 conjugate, 0, 0, which is equals to identity matrix of order 2 by 2. Now, row 1 with column 1. Row 1 with column 1. What you will get? What is R1 C1? Row 1 with column 1. S21 into S21 conjugate, which is equals to 1. Now from this S21 equals to 1. Now what is the scattering matrix of the isolator? 0, 1, 0, 0. This is the scattering matrix of the isolator. We have seen its operation, right? In forward direction it will allow the signal, in backward direction it will block the signal. Now why it is blocking the signal and why it is allowing the signal, we have seen just now its operation. And this characteristic, this S matrix and its operation, you have to observe practically under your lab, right? Now this is about your experiment, that is characteristics of isolator, which is a 2-port device, right?